Welcome to the 10th Annual Columbus Black Theater Festival. We are so glad that you are here. We celebrate 10 years this year. We want to thank the people that have gotten us here this far. The Greater Columbus Arts Council, the Greater Columbus Arts Council, Wild Goose Creatives, Lady Butterflies, Mind for God Productions, and I want to send out a special thank you to State of the Art Productions, Gwen Edwards, who can't be with us today, but we miss her, we love you, and we're praying for you. So sit back, relax, turn down your volumes on your phone, no videos. If you want to take pictures of your loved ones, I don't care. Just don't flash, because it'll distract the actors. So get ready to enjoy the 10th Annual Columbus Black Theater Festival. We thank Abbey Theater for having us here as our host, and our theme this year is Speaking Truth That Heals.
It's a free country. I said it's a free country, mister. You're welcome to sit down.
Oh, thanks. Me?
You look tired or lost. Are you lost too, mister?
I don't want to, invade your, space.
This is DeKalb County. Not gonna happen. I don't take up much space. Do you smell that? Isn't that the most beautiful fragrance in the world?
The magnolia trees?
You're not from around here, are you? There are no magnolia trees at Magnolia and Vine. Henry says suburbia is where the developer bulldozes out all the trees and then names the streets after them. But if you head northeast towards Doraville, the sugar maple and white pine line the sidewalk like old friends. My mother loved pine trees, loblollies, level orb blinds, free samples, 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, and any movie with Colin Firth. Do you know how many times we watched Love Actually? 12 times. Well, strictly speaking. Baker's dozen.
13.
If you count the last time. It was done in Spanish. In Spanish, I'm not kidding. On some, random cable station. It was so unsettling. A real disconnect. Verging on creepy, Like those freeze-dried bottle ticks at the U.S. Tick Collection. 1 million specimens of blood-sucking bugs. Ew. Henry finds it fascinating, but I don't see the attraction. Que repugnante! Hey, mister, do you habla español?
Un poco.
Me too, un poco. Anyway, I don't think my mother noticed. Spanish, Burmese, Mandarin, could have been broadcast in Swedish. I don't think my mother would have noticed. And Henry, my stepdad, Henry, he was nowhere to be found the entire 136 minutes. Another disconnect. Realmente amor, a baker's dozen. That was the last time me and my mother watched Colin Firth declares undying love to his housekeeper. Hands down my favorite scene. And everyone lived happily ever after. Well, everyone except Mom, me, and Henry. And Dad, senor. That was a year ago today.
Are you going to, cry, miss?
Tears may soothe the wounds they cannot heal. What cannot be said will be wept. Suffer. No, I'm not going to cry. I choose never to cry again. I choose to bask in the most glorious aroma in the world. Do you smell that?
I'm sorry?
Hash browns. Hash browns, mister. Smothered in grilled onion and hickory smoked ham. You haven't lived until you tried the hash browns from the Waffle House. I worked my last shift this morning.
Off Peachtree Boulevard?
Nope, Decatur, side the first Waffle House, 1955. Hey, I thought you said you weren't from around here.
Well, I knocked around these parts when I was a kid. Met a gal at Kenwick Park. We were young. Love at first sight.
Aw, so you're from Chamblee too?
No, I was raised in Dunwoody. I moved there when, it's hearsay, but the day I cut my first tooth.
Just a baby?
Yep. My dad had some trouble with the law, wheel and tire theft, that kind of thing. My dad liked cheap boxed wine, peach cobbler, and cheap women, my mother always said. That's all I really know about him. So, when he stole some lawn equipment from our neighbor, hedge clippers and a power mower, also hearsay, we left. Moved in with my grandmother in Dunwoody. Nice place, great library, good schools. I liked school. Went to the same high school as that television host, Ryan Seacrest. Who would have thought that the guy who was voted best dressed at Dunwoody High would become a national phenomenon? Pretty weird, right?
There are weirder things than that, mister. The Saturday before last, Henry took me to the Loudermilk boarding house and Everything Elvis Museum. It's like a shrine for the king. Voted best Elvis experience this side of Memphis. Poor Henry, he sang on me tender. La la, you give me hope to carry on.
The wonder of you.
Yeah, over and over through 5 rooms of Elvis memorabilia. Whiskey decanters, Elvis postage stamp bedspreads, and get this, the maybe Elvis toenail. Ugh.
So your stepfather is an Elvis fan?
Not really. Mom and Henry went to Memphis for their honeymoon. They dragged me along, though I don't remember it. I remember missing a week of kindergarten, though. And I like school, too. Actually, I was accepted at Georgia State in the fall, but, I'm not sure if I'm going. Henry bought me a second-hand car for graduation. It's an easy commute from Decatur. That's where we moved after middle school. And Mom, well, it was closer to the Winship Cancer Institute. Hey, mister, have you ever heard of magical thinking?
Sure have. I'm inclined to practice it myself.
Yeah, well, I know it's magical thinking, but see, the year we moved to Decatur,
How old were you?
14, and don't make fun of me, okay? It was the last chance I could go to the daddy-daughter dance. That's the annual semi-formal dance for daughters 8th grade or younger and their fathers. Daddy-daughter, daughter-daddy, right? Even though grandfathers, uncles, they were also welcome. Henry loved that night. He wore his blue suit. He only has one suit. And he'd wash the car that morning, even though it was February. Cold. Really cold. Henry'd come back inside, his fingers a few shades lighter than his dress shirt. My mom would warm them up in armpits. It was part of our tradition. Then Henry would go on and on and on about the menu. They were always serving Italian food. Henry called it I-Italian. I wonder what kind of I-Italian they're serving this year. And, now comes the bad part.
How bad could it be?
Oh, it's bad. It's very bad because instead of joining in for the line dancing, Henry loves the electric slide, and instead of eating lasagna and picking the green peppers out of his salad, he hates peppers, I spent the entire night at the entrance of the Chamblee Civic Center looking. I know it's magical thinking, mister, but I was looking for my father. I thought maybe, just maybe he'd show up. Thing is, I don't know what he looks like, or I don't know anything about him except for what my mother told me, and that wasn't much. But I figured I'd recognize him anyway, you know? He's my dad.
And moving to Decatur.
It was his last chance to find me. Chance in a lifetime. Magical thinking. But I think, I know I hurt Henry's feelings too. Standing there all night and my new slingbacks that I didn't deserve. Just ditching him like that. But Henry never said a word. And the next day, he got me 2 SpongeBob Band-Aids for my toes. And when my mother asked, how'd you get all those blisters? Before I could answer, Henry said, we danced the night away.
You're lucky. He's a good father.
Stepfather. What's wrong, mister? Are you feeling okay? We could move into some shade if you would like. The afternoon sun could get pretty brutal in these parts. Hydrate, hydrate, hydrate. That's what Henry always says. You gotta take it easy during the hottest parts of the day. Here, drink.
I'm fine, thank you.
It could be heat exhaustion. Happens to the best of us, mister. There's no shame in that.
Thanks. I got a lot to be ashamed of, miss. And that's what brought me back to Chamblee. It's been a long time.
Waiting in Walmart's 1-hour photo center is a long time, mister. Define long.
Well, let's see. Graduated from Dunwoody.
You haven't been back here since high school?
No. Not exactly. I knocked around that summer after graduation. Did odd jobs for my grandmother. She spoiled me. Oh, yeah. Spent the rest of my time shooting hoops at Kenwood Park and romancing my gal. It was harder when I started USC that fall. Tried to make it down every weekend to visit. Slacked off in my studies. Pretty disappointed in myself. Dropped out of my second semester anyway when I got my gal in trouble, if you know what I mean. Big trouble with a capital T. Didn't tell a soul except my grandmother. She took it to her grave, too. Leukemia. She went fast. I'm grateful for that. My mother, she was dating a guy from Atlanta, and neither of them were too interested in me, so nobody asked any questions when I quit college and took a job at the Frito-Lay plant. Until it closed. Saved some money. I wanted to do the right thing, be responsible. Yep. I was young. About the same age as you. What are you, 19?
18 and third?
About that age. On my last day of work, I had a fender bender on account of Bud Light, that is. Passed out on the floor. Hardly room in the bed for me, anyway. My pint-sized gal was wider than a tree trunk, 8 months pregnant and all. The next morning, I packed a bag about the same size as the one you're carrying now. Headed to the airport and boarded the next flight out of here. I still regret it. Deeply. Very deeply.
Remorse is the poison of life.
Henry say that too?
Emily Bronte. So, why are you here, mister? What are you doing back in Chamblee?
Well, my wife and I, my wife that is, she's expecting our first in a couple of weeks.
That's good news, right?
And I want to be a good parent, a good father, but it keeps gnawing at me. Can't shake off this feeling that I'm not going to do right by her. I mean, how will my daughter ever trust me when I failed my firstborn? How will she ever feel safe?
You're having a girl?
Yep. And I thought that if I could only find my love child, maybe I can earn that trust. from the both of them. Magical thinking, right? But meeting you here like this, it gives me more confidence that my young'un is safe and loved and being taken care of. The way Henry takes care of you.
He's not my father.
I heard you the first time, miss, but I can tell you this. If I could be half the father to my little girl that Henry is to you, I'd be a proud and happy man.
You don't know anything. Anything at all, mister. And I don't want to talk about it anymore, okay? I think you should leave.
That's something I'm good at. I didn't mean to intrude, miss. Name 5 things you know about your father.
What?
I said name 5 things you know
You
about...
have got to be kidding me.
You're stalling. I think you're stalling.
No, I'm not.
You don't know one thing about him, miss. You don't know if he's a thief, or if he likes green peppers, or...
Pie. My father liked frozen blueberry pie.
That's one thing. You know hundreds of things about Henry. What did he do that you can't forgive him for?
I'm not listening to you. You don't know what you're talking about.
We're not talking about me. I asked you to name 5 things that you know about your father.
He wore a lucky red bandana. Okay? Okay? Never took it off. Stop looking at me like that.
It's 2 things.
He loved my mother.
I'm sure he did.
He loved my mother.
I don't doubt it, okay? That's 3 things.
So why did he leave me?
I can't answer that, miss. I wish I could.
I kept calling for him. Henry! Henry! In the movie, it kept playing, and Henry, I need you! And she was hardly breathing by then. The credits are playing, and her hands were coated in a February frost! Where was he for that 136 minutes, huh? When I needed him the most, when my mother drew her last breath, where was Henry then? Go away. Go away!
I didn't mean to cause you any harm, miss. I never want to cause you any harm.
Stay. Mister, please, stay. My father wasn't there for me for my entire lifetime. But I forgive him. Why can't I forgive Henry?
I don't know. But I can sit with you for a while if you'd like. Maybe we can figure it out together.
No. No. I think it's gonna be all right. Besides, don't you have a plane to catch?
Yep, that I do. And you're sure you're going to be all right?
Hey, mister. Did you pick out a name for your baby?
Well, my wife is still on the fence, but I think I can win her over. Because I'm so charming, oh yeah. But I always wanted to name a daughter Sarah Lee.
Why?
Well, Everybody doesn't like something, but
Nobody doesn't like Sarah Lee. It's a good name. It's a memorable name. I hope she wears it in good health, Senor.
Thank you, Chica. And thank you for the water. You might want to find some shade yourself.
Henry? Henry, it's me. Sarah Lee. I'm lost, Henry. Can you come find me? I'll be waiting for you at the corner of Magnolia and Vine.
I'm a king, see me standing, center ring, don't gotta worry about a thing, cause I'm a king, catch me soaring high on my golden wing. When I knock, you better hurry up and answer the door. When I call, you better listen up, you gon' hear my roar, cause I'm telling you right now, I will not be ignored.
Could you please stop doing that?
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel uncomfortable. Oh, I was disturbing your reading. Alright, I'll keep it down. It's just that I love music so much, man. You know, it's like the only way I can really express myself.
Whatever you're thinking, little boy, you better stop and take a step back. Think again. If you so much as contemplate putting your hands on me, I will lay you out cold.
Why's it gotta be all like that? I didn't do nothing to you.
And that's exactly how it's going to stay.
Y'all all the same.
Excuse me? Exactly who are you referring to?
Y'all old people.
Oh!
Y'all think every young brother's out to hurt somebody.
Hold up now. Things are going from 0 to 60 real quick. Let's just take a step back. We obviously got off on the wrong foot. Since we're going to be sharing this space, we might as well be civil with one another. Do you agree?
I guess, yeah.
All right. My name is Aubrey.
What's up, Aubrey?
And you are?
Martin.
All right, Martin. Pleased to meet you.
Yeah, I guess I can see why you was tripping, you know, with me sitting next to you, like, with the crime in this area being as bad as it is and all.
Do you live in this neighborhood?
Nah, I live on the west side.
Then what do you know about the crime in this area?
I know what I see on the news.
You can't always trust the news. They sometimes put a certain spin on things that's not always the way it really is.
Yeah, that's right. Fake news.
No. We are not going to go there. That's a whole other thing.
Nah, they ain't the same thing.
No, it's not. When they say it's all fake news, they saying that all news is made up, and you can't trust none of it. Now that's a dangerous thing, because if you can't trust the legitimate news reports, then you'll believe anything anyone tells you.
It's the same thing when they talk about our hoods.
No, there's a difference.
What's the difference?
I'm not saying the news makes up stuff out of thin air about our neighborhoods. What I'm saying is they only report on certain things and leave the rest out. They never report on all the good stuff that happens on around here.
I don't know, man. Sounds kind of like the same thing to me.
One is about making stuff up and saying it's real. The other is about leaving information out and only reporting on certain things.
Ain't what you doing called splitting hairs?
No, it's called the truth.
Alright, that's the way you want to see it.
What are you doing on this side of town?
I sort of got a job here.
Sorta got a job?
Yeah.
Well, it must pay some good money for you to come all this way.
You must have been a good student.
I must have been a good what?
A good student. You're reading. Nobody reads anymore.
It's all about time. Nobody has time to read these days.
But you do.
Well, I make the time.
There you go. That's what I like to hear.
You like to hear what?
People who aren't afraid to put a little effort into bettering themselves, learn more, be more, instead of just sitting at home and living off the system.
What are you doing here on the east side?
I told you work.
What work?
What you mean, what work? It's work.
All right, never mind. If you're too scared to tell me,
If I'm what?
or ashamed, no matter what the case may be.
I work at a homeless shelter, right?
Oh. I mean, it's just that I wouldn't have
You wouldn't have expected that of me, right? Judge a book by its cover and all that.
It's just, I'm sorry. It's a very honorable job to have. It takes a person with a big heart and a lot of empathy to take a job like that.
I don't know, man. Just whatever. Just whatever.
What made you take a job at a homeless shelter? Is that a career you're interested in? Social work?
I guess, yeah. Nah, it ain't nothing really like that.
Well, if no one else has said it to you, let me be the first to say thank you. You're helping to make our community better, which makes the world better. You're one of the good ones.
Whoa, one of the good ones? What's that supposed to mean?
It's meant to be a compliment.
A compliment.
Well, yeah, I mean, with so many young people today being into themselves and heads buried into their smartphones, it's a good thing to see a young man like yourself thinking of others.
You don't know nothing about me. I tell you I work in a homeless shelter and suddenly in your mind I change into some good person. But who I am to you is just in your head.
So are you saying you're not really a good person?
No, I ain't no good person.
Maybe you're selling yourself short.
You're not listening to me.
I'm sorry.
Nobody listens to me. Nobody hears me. Nobody sees me. They just want to build their own world around me. You want to know why I work at a homeless shelter? It's for my probation. Yeah. Physical assault on another person. See? You didn't know that. But now you're starting to see for real.
Who was it that you assaulted?
I don't know. Some homeless dude.
Why?
Why not? He was there. Don't nobody care about homeless people anyway.
There are people who care. I care. They care.
They who?
The homeless, the ones you assault. They care.
They don't count.
Of course they count. They the ones you hurting. And like I said, there are people out here who care about the homeless.
Nobody thinks about them. Nobody even sees them. How can you care about something that you don't even know is there? They invisible. Like me.
You're not invisible. I see you.
That's because I made you see me. Otherwise, you wouldn't even thought twice about me.
That's not true.
It's like with my parents. They sick of me. They so sick of me. They ain't seen me in a long time now. So I just started making a lot of noise so they had no choice but to see me. But after a while, they just stopped paying attention altogether.
Why are they sick of you?
I don't know. Just the way it is. At home, at school, people always said I was bad. So when I did bad things, that's the only time they ever noticed me. So I be what they expect me to be.
Don't be what other people expect you to be. Be the person you are. Be you.
I don't even know who that is. I don't know who I am. Maybe I am bad. Maybe that's just the way it is, and that's the way it's always gonna be. I mean, if you had seen him, I hit him so hard. I just kept hitting him over and over and over again. His face was just blood. couldn't stop. I just kept going and going until they had to pull me off of him. It was like I blacked out or something.
Why did you attack that man, Martin?
Because I hated him.
Did you know him?
No.
Then how and why do you hate someone that you don't even know?
I know he gave up. Took the easy way out. He gave up and tried to disappear. All I did was let him know that I could still see him and that he could still see me and that he could feel my fist. It was like every punch proved that we were still alive and not invisible. At least for those few seconds. Yeah, so that's what that's about. What?
Excuse me?
Excuse me. What's that look supposed to mean?
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Aren't you gonna say something?
What do you think I should say?
Forget you, man.
If you're looking to get some understanding on what you did, you won't get it from me. Why people who are hurting gotta make others hurt too, I'll never understand it. I'm tired. And I don't got nothing more to say. And now that bus is late. And usually when it's late, that means it's not coming anytime soon. I could have walked home by now. And that's exactly what I'm gonna do. I hope you figure out who you are. We only have a certain amount of time to get it right.
Damn, man. Come on, Bus. Hey. I see you over there. I see you. That lady who was just here before, she might not have seen you, but I do. You're not invisible. Look at me when I talk to you, because I ain't invisible either. Yeah, you can hear me, and you can see me.
I was on my way home. I was thinking about resting and relaxing for the rest of the evening, and then it hit me. You were right about something. I didn't see. I didn't realize. God forgive me. I didn't see. And then I thought about you and the way you were going. You don't have to do this, Martin. You have a choice. We all have a choice, always. And we all want something. And this woman right here, all she wants is to be safe. That's all. What do you want?
I don't know. I don't know what I want.
I think I know. At least a part. I think you want what we all want, which is to be appreciated and seen. And I don't know you, but I see and appreciate you for the young man that you can be if you choose to be. If you choose to be. You taught me something today. You did. And that's why we're all here. You have to choose who you want to be and what you want to do. Don't do this.
I don't see myself anymore. I look, and I just see invisible. I don't want to be invisible anymore.
Martin, baby, you never were.
welcome to Infinity Flux. Congrats on being our first customer of the day, of the week actually. Shows initiative, and that's a superpower. Just let me know if you need help finding anything.
I'm fine. I'll just browse. Thanks.
Sure, do your thing. I'll be here for you.
You worried I'll steal something? Shove a Superman in my purse?
Definitely not. Just wanted to help, and you're not a Superman reader.
Really?
Spidey, maybe. More likely American Chavez.
I don't know who that is.
I'm truly sorry for you. But seriously, let me know if I can help you find anything. I can be very helpful. It's one of my superpowers.
Sure. I thought I might find something. For my son. He likes comic books.
Yeah, absolutely. What's he into? We've got everything.
What's he into? That's a good question.
Well, how old is he?
Why?
They're not all appropriate for all ages.
Well, he's over 18, so no problem there.
Great. Would you like a recommendation? I love to give recommendations.
I would appreciate that.
Well, right now I'm loving Saga. Great art, excellent characters, sexy but not in a patriarchal way. Unpredictable. That's my favorite thing. The surprises feel organic to the themes.
You're not much of a salesman.
Excuse me?
Don't tell me about something that isn't out yet. Sell me the ones you've got. Don't let me walk out of here without them. Just because something else is coming out soon.
Well, I want you to buy the format that's best for you.
No, you should want me to buy the format that's best for you. The one that makes the sale.
I don't think so.
This is your place?
Yes?
Seems like you're doing it out of love of the art, not the business.
Well, I don't love business. It's just a means to be around the art.
You'll never make a living at it that way.
You just really reminded me of someone.
That's my superpower. I'm always reminding people of someone.
Mm-hmm. Well, the paperbacks are on that shelf over there, organized alphabetical by author. Saga's under V for Vaughn.
Wait, sorry. I was just trying to help.
I don't need any help.
You sure about that?
I was trying to help you.
Look, I didn't mean to get off on the wrong foot. I know the building is up for sale.
Yeah, so?
You really think a new owner is going to want to keep a shop like this when they could rent to someone who actually makes a profit?
It's the nature of the business. Happens to comic shops all the time, especially when the rent keeps climbing. It won't be up to me.
But it could be up to me. I'm considering buying the building.
Seriously?
You're on the ground floor of a potentially lucrative property. I don't want to see this place turned into a coffee shop or a designer boutique or something.
Why not?
This isn't just a comic shop, is it?
Well, Friday nights we've got Magic the Gathering. Everybody starts on an open pack of cards, level playing field, no collector advantages, just the way it should be. Saturdays there's live music. I don't play myself, I'm more of an appreciator. I make the space available. That's another one of my superpowers.
What if the new building owner was also an appreciator?
One could hope.
That's not all this place is, though, is it? You live here too? In the back? It's your home. You didn't mention that.
How do you know that?
It's important to do your research when you're thinking about buying a property. You need to know what the liabilities are, whether or not you're going to need to evict anyone. You can't rely on trust. You need facts.
And money.
I wouldn't change this ground floor unit at all.
Well, that sounds like a poor investment strategy.
You really are a terrible salesman.
Well, I'm not interested in being a salesman. I'm honest. I don't like being beholden to anyone. I don't like not knowing what's going on around me or what my relationship is to something or someone. Now, I usually have a really good sense of that kind of thing, and yeah, it's a superpower, but it's helped keep me alive through some pretty tough times. Okay, what's going on here? You know, I woke up this morning with a funny feeling, a feeling like things were about to shift. And then you walked in here and everything did. I hate the idea of losing this store because the building gets sold, but like, I get it, it's fucking capitalism. It's why I'd rather tell you to come back in a couple months for the book you actually want than to hide it from you, lie to you. not saying is also lying. You don't know anything about comic books, do you? Why would you? I mean, or do you? Who are you? Are you actually some huge creator? That's why you look so familiar and this is going to be a pet project? You are, aren't you? I should have figured. Something's fishy when a Latina hasn't heard of America Chavez.
I've really never heard of America Chavez.
If you don't know anything about my business, except the business part, which is shitty by definition, why are we having this conversation?
I wanted to meet you.
Me?
Not meet exactly. We know each other.
Are you sure?
You knew I wouldn't read Superman.
Steal. I said you wouldn't steal Superman. I didn't think you'd like him. He's pretty much invulnerable.
Why wouldn't I like an invulnerable character?
I just get that sense.
America Chavez isn't invulnerable?
It's more complicated, a little more nuanced. It's not that she can't be hurt. Who can relate to that? America Chavez isn't just about portals to other universes. She transforms matter, sculpts energy, doesn't create it or destroy it, so nothing really changes. It's more like things shift.
Like when I walked in here.
Maybe.
Time stops for a second. Does that happen to you a lot?
Yeah, sure, yeah. It's how I experience the world.
It happened to me. In a big way. A long time ago.
Just so I'm clear on this, if you buy this building and you let me stay here, even if I don't make a dime, is this the price that I have to listen to your stories?
Yeah, I guess it is.
Transactional, just not monetary.
That too high a price? You wanted to know what your relationship was to me. But you don't trust me. Admit it. You don't.
I'm not used to that.
You said you felt it when I walked in this morning. You called it a shift. I felt it before I opened the door. I almost didn't open the door. I've almost opened the door so many times. In Chattanooga and in Vanderbilt. So many times. This was different. It's going to sound crazy, but it felt like the door was going to open whether I touched it or not. It was time to make things right.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I think you do. The first time I felt it, it wasn't like the energy shifted. It was more like all of the energy disappeared. Everything was completely still. Like I was the only one on Earth. It was the beginning of time. You were almost 10 and it was the beginning of time. You were so fragile. That's what they would say about you, the doctors. This little boy is fragile. When you were 8 and your lung collapsed, I thought I was dying. Every time you were admitted, I died a little. I had already lost your father. It was too much for me. You were in and out of the hospital. We could lose you at any moment. Even as a child, you were perched between life and... Please, say something. I loved you. Too much, maybe, but I felt myself edging away, not giving you what you deserved because I was terrified. But you had your abuelo. He knew how to love you, take care of you, better than I ever could. And then that terrible day, the chaos and smoke and so many people that were never found, I slipped away. God forgive me, it was so easy. I saw this opportunity to start again, be anyone, no strings. It sounds horrible. I was a mother, but I couldn't. Please understand. I had nothing to give you, to give anyone. If I left, nothing would change at all. I lost you, but I wouldn't have to keep feeling the constant fear of losing you. It had already happened. I moved away. I changed my name. I didn't know at first that your abuelo had moved you out of New York. Not until a few years later. I was afraid to try to follow your progress. What if I learned that you had... So I shut it all out. I started teaching, volunteering, politics, prisons, food banks, whatever I could find. I poured myself into it, lost myself. It felt good. I wrote a book, I made some money. I wrote another one, I made more money. I kept volunteering. I made a lot of donations. I was successful in a way that I'd never been before. I was standing on my own 2 feet, self-contained, finally fulfilling my potential, whatever that is. I started thinking, what's it for? I'm alone. I'm safe. But I'm alone. I had figured out at that point that you were in Tennessee. I started scanning the local newspapers, high school graduations, eventually college. There was a huge write-up when you got that Posey scholarship to Vanderbilt. And 4 years later, I came so close to watching you walk across that stage. I chickened out. But I've always been so proud of you.
You don't know anything about me.
I feel like I do. From a distance, watching, not obsessively, but more and more as time went by, and you were okay, more than okay. It was safe to watch. Then I saw this article about a struggling comic book store with so much community support, but no money. And the picture, you look strong, like you, like a grown version of you, but strong. And I had nothing to do with that.
Well, I wouldn't say that. You grow up without something, you learn how to fill in the gaps.
It's all right to be angry.
Angry? We thought you were dead. We buried your shoes, your goddamn shoes.
You hate me. I deserve this. I understand.
I'm feeling way too many things to label it with just one word.
Please, listen. I don't know how else to explain it. I kept hearing it in my head. This little boy is fragile. It was me. I was too fragile for you.
That's not fragile. That's weak.
I'm not anymore. I swear it.
This is too much to process.
It was wrong. What I did, I knew it almost immediately, but I didn't know how to go back.
Stop. Just stop.
You didn't know? When I walked in here, you said I reminded you of someone. You didn't feel like I was still out there, alive, this whole time?
I feel like everyone we lost is still out there. Abuelo, I have tea with him sometimes. Dad, the patients who died in my hospital before I was admitted. Nothing is created or destroyed. I thought you were like that, like them, in the air around me.
I was. If you felt like I was, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I want to fix it. I can't fix it, but I can do something for you. Please let me, but it's up to you. I have a life in another state. I can go back to it, vanish again. Or I can buy this building and give you a home. One that's not going to disappear under you because you don't have any money. That's something I can give you. You just have to trust me. Can you trust me? You said that was one of yours.
I got that power from Abuelo, not from you.
I know. He was so good.
Don't talk about him. You don't have the right to talk about him. He spent his last 20 years raising me.
He did a wonderful job.
That little boy is still fragile. And you know what? I'm fine with that. The people who love me, they're fine with that. I don't have time for anyone who isn't.
I wasn't up to the challenge. I'm up for it now.
I don't need you now.
No, of course you don't. You're a grown man. I'm sorry. Just know that I'm truly sorry. I'd wish I'd been a different person. I'd wish I'd been me now. But that's not how it works. It's too late. I get it. I don't know what I was thinking. Good luck with everything.
I don't need you. That's the first thing that you have to get into your head. You aren't buying this building because I need you to. You're buying it because you need to. Because you have things that you have to make up for yourself. I can help with that. It's what I do.
There'll be a 10-minute intermission. There's snacks outside. Help yourself.
I don't like her.
Why not? I thought she was good.
I thought she did a great interpretation of Ruth Younger, don't you, Rachel?
She was pretty good. I felt her frustration with Walter Lee. Plus, her facial expressions were on point. That sister wasn't playing.
That girl didn't sound like Ruth. And she wasn't pretty either. She would have had a better chance if she'd used a side from the mother, Lena. Would fit her look.
I didn't know we were casting for a raisin in the sun.
We're not, but if we were, I'm just saying I would not cast that girl as Ruth. She doesn't fit the part. That's all. She's too dark.
Okay, Paul, so are you saying the only person who can play Ruth Younger is someone who looks like Ruby Dee? May she rest in peace?
No. I'm just saying the only girl that I would cast as Ruth needs to look like a Ruby Dee.
Like a Ruby Dee? Just what does look like a Ruby Dee look like, I wonder?
You know, light-skinned, pretty, petite, nice hair. Hair. That girl came in here with her hair in an afro, wearing jeans. No class about herself. Not like Ruby Dee. Ruby is the standard for what Ruth Younger should look and act like. Nice to look at, too. Easy on the eyes.
Ruby Dee was the acceptable standard of what a black actress should look like from the start. You know, back in those good old days.
Well, if you ask me, you're typecasting, putting actors in a box. Their acting ability should be what gets them the role.
Are you suggesting that we just cast people based on their acting skills and ignore what they look like? Ignore what the audience expects to see. We are in this business to sell tickets, you know.
Oh, yeah, wouldn't want to shake up the norm now, would we?
What?
Good afternoon. My name is Baxter Nelson, and I'm going to do an excerpt from Change. Excuse me, miss. Do you have any spare change? Anything at all, even the smallest penny. Okay, well, you have a good day, ma'am. God bless you, okay? Any spare change, mister? I'm trying to get enough to take the bus downtown to. You have a good day, sir. God bless you. Excuse me, miss. Do you have any... Oh, well, thank you. May the Lord bless and keep you for your kindness. I'm trying to get enough to take the bus downtown to stay at the shelter. I have $1.62 right now, and it's $2.50 for the bus one way, ma'am. So I only need 88 cents, ma'am. Yes, if you've got it. Oh, yes, so $1 is great, ma'am, because I had...
Thank you. Thank you. That will be all.
But I still have a few more lines.
They're not necessary. I've seen what I need to see. Thank you for coming in.
Thank you for the audition. I hope to hear from you.
So, what do you think?
I think he did very well. I liked him.
Really? I think he should have chose a side that better fit his age. Ray is in his mid-50s and change. That actor couldn't be over 30. Hard to see him begging for change looking like he's rich.
We aren't casting for change. I'm talking about his acting ability. I could feel his helplessness in trying to get to a safe place.
Okay, so you would cast him as Ray if we were producing change, even though he doesn't fit the character's age as written by the playwright.
Are you suggesting that we can't just cast people based on their ability, acting skills, and ignore what they look like? Ignore what the audience expects to see? I mean, we are in the business of selling tickets, you know.
And I am in the business of putting together a show that people want to buy tickets to see.
Hi, my name is Candy Foster. I'm going to do an excerpt from Runaway. When I was a kid, I wanted something really bad to happen to me. A true life-changing kind of brat. The privilege of a middle-class upbringing, I guess. Going blind is like a good option, but maybe too inconvenient for me directly. I also wondered about my parents getting divorced or having my little brother die, which is something I really hoped for when he wouldn't leave me alone. Besides, I didn't want the actual event to happen to me. I wanted the excuse. I wanted to be able to run away and have everyone be worried about me, but not mad at me. I guess the same feeling as wanting to witness your own funeral. When I got a little older, the feeling was more nuanced. I was at my neighbor's funeral. I was 11. His wife had always been so nice to me. She gave me those little candies from a bowl and let me touch all the stuffed animals in her living room. When me and my mom went up to her and we said that we were sorry that the lady's husband had died, she just looked at her and said, "I don't really give a damn." In a completely flat voice, too. I was old enough to be offended, but not so old enough that I could let it go. And she knew I was upset, and she said, "Grief does funny things to people. You have to be understanding." So, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Well, that was interesting.
Yes, it was. I really felt her performance.
Yeah, no, I mean, it was interesting that she ran off like that in the middle of a monologue. And she was doing a monologue for a man. But come on, really? She couldn't find a monologue for a woman when she was on the internet? Very easy to find, you know.
What about her performance, though? I mean, what'd you think about that?
Well, she's good. I'm nervous. She's young. But, well, she's a good reader, but I would have liked to see her perform something that fit her more.
Fit her more like how?
Well, for starters, she's a teenager. A black teenage girl. I would like to see her represent that. Who she really is.
Excuse me? Represent who she really is. Like, what is she, Paul?
Oh, I can't wait to hear this.
She's black.
She is? Oh, you're kidding.
And being black, she should what? Come to auditions acting like what?
Acting like she's black. And I don't care if she's a rich black, poor black, an angry black, or an uppity black. Just act black.
Oh, it's getting hot in here. Now, people, we still have 3 more people to audition today, okay?
I don't know why even bother if the casting is left up to Paul. It's obvious some actors are wasting their time auditioning today.
I'm telling you, it's never a waste of time to audition. If nothing else, they're getting experience in the craft. They are learning from my theater expertise.
Okay, so that's why they're here. Not to get the role, just for your expertise, just for the experience of the craft.
Auditioning for roles is great acting experience. And yes, acting is a craft. Why do you think people take acting lessons or go to acting school or major in theater in college? As a pastime? I certainly didn't get my master's in theater not to use it.
Listen, this is community theater, okay? I mean, every actor hasn't had acting lessons. I mean, most of these people have paying jobs, dude.
And nevertheless, I take this seriously, even if you don't. And that girl...
Candy Foster?
Right, Candy Foster. See? Even her name is feminine. How am I supposed to see her as a man, reading a male role like she did?
Well, if you take a few minutes to read the form the actors fill out, you would see that Candy has put her pronouns as they and their.
They and their. And what does that mean?
Oh, boy, you know, this is too much. I mean, you really need to get with the times. Good grief. I mean, it means Candy doesn't want to be called male or female.
You know, some other actor was trying to explain this to me. It doesn't make sense. Sounds schizophrenic. They means more than one, right? And there means more than one person or thing has or owns something, right? So is this kind of a way of saying that the person knows they have a split personality? Or what? Like when people used to say they were in the closet, meaning acting one way in public and quite another in private.
No!
Like that?
No, not at all. They are clearly saying, don't put me in a box and label me as male or female. It is as simple as that. As simple as that and no more.
There's not anything in life as simple as that, my dear. I assure you.
All right. Good evening. Afternoon. My name is Leroy Brown. I'm going to perform something from a piece that a friend of mine who is a playwright wrote. I walked the many miles on the road of hard knocks. I went to the school of hard knocks too. One thing I learned, and I learned the hard way in the school of hard knocks, is that nobody cares about you when you down and out. Nobody wants you either when you down and out. I'd rather be living on Skid Row than to be down and out. Oh yeah, that's right. Skid Row is down and out. Nobody wants you when you're on Skid Row either. In fact, there's not many people that want you when you're on Easy Street. But I ain't never been on Easy Street. I had to hustle and dime my whole miserable life. My mama didn't even give a damn about me. And don't ask me about my daddy. Who the hell is he? I don't know. All I know is, power to the people. We will overcome someday. No justice, no peace, brother man. No justice, no peace, and me too.
Well, thank you, Leroy, for coming in.
Thank you for having me. I hope to hear from you about the park, sir.
Follow me, Mr. Brown. Right this way.
Everything, lead the way. Woo, that was good. Oh,
Now, that is what I mean about performing something that fits you.
What?
See, he was a black man acting like a black man. It's believable.
And just what does a black man act like?
He acts like Leroy just did. Loud, angry, and honest about his circumstance.
You're a piece of work, you know that?
Are you insulting me, Daniel? Are you saying that wasn't a good audition?
Oh, that performance was crap, and you know it. And if you don't know it...
What I know is Leroy would be perfect for the role we have open for a loud black man. Don't you think so, Rachel?
What I think is that you need to rethink that decision. Mr. Brown cannot act. Period. Loud? Yes, he is. Black? Yes, he is. An actor? No, he is not. This is ridiculous, Paul. I heard you were stuck in your ways when it came to casting minorities, and that even when you do, they fit the Mammy and driving Miss Daisy mentality. And now, I see it's true.
You mean, yes, sir, master. I don't know nothing about birthing no babies. He wants me to shine your shoes, mammy mentality?
Sammy, when you get done driving me around town, I need you to wash up my car real good. Now you hear me? I can't be seen driving around in no dirty Jaguar, no can I?
Oh, yes, ma'am. I gets right on it when I gets back home. Wash and wax it up real good. So do we get the part?
No, that performance you don't. Daniel, you weren't submissive enough for me, playing a black Southern man. You weren't looking the white woman directly in the eyes. They don't do that down there.
Really? You know, what freaking year is this? I mean, you missed the whole damn point in the skit. You're a effing moron.
Don't call him names, Daniel. Listen, the point we're trying to make is that some plays from past eras were designed to stereotype people, put them in boxes, present them to their audience as they perceive them through their eyes. Their perception of how other groups of people should act, feel, and respond about life.
There are some theater companies that will not cast minorities in leading roles. And the minorities are few and far apart between on stage. You know, maybe one or two black or brown faces in an ensemble. Maybe. I mean, sometimes you can't even tell that there's a minority in the play at all, because some only cast white presenting actors. You know, how'd you put it, Paul? Light skin, good hair type? Or they keep producing the same story like Driving Miss Daisy. The black man being submissive to the pure white woman. Even if she's Jewish, she's presenting white. Period. You know, I mean, you can't get around that fact. Are you so blind that you can't see that?
I received a theater award for my direction of Driving Miss Daisy. And both of the actors received leading actor awards for their performances.
Any other black actors receive an acting award that year? For anything?
No. But that's nothing out of the ordinary. There were no minorities to nominate.
And why do you think that is, Paul? Could it have something to do with no black and brown actors being cast in those theater companies? I mean, how many have you cast in the plays you direct?
I am a director. I'm not responsible for what plays the production companies produce. I am paid to direct what they produce. And I have only the script to work with in regards to who I cast for a play. When I'm contacted, they already know what play they want me to direct. Just like for this play.
Well, in the script, it says that the race, gender, and sexuality of the characters is at the director's discretion. Yet you want to cast Leroy Brown as James, an angry middle-aged man who wants revenge on his boss for sleeping on the job. And you say it's because he
would be perfect as the role for a loud black man. That means, Paul, that you want to, based on your perception of what a black man is and how a black man acts and thinks, cast Leroy Brown as James. Why? Because James is an angry man. Therefore, he must be black.
God, that was not my intention, Daniel. I really think Leroy would be perfect for the part. That's all. He fits the character description.
You're lying, Paul. It has nothing to do with that. You remember what you said to me earlier. You asked me if Leroy Brown would be a good fit for James because we have a role open for a loud black man. Nowhere in the script does it say that James is a loud black man. Nowhere.
Now, calm down, Rachel. Okay, use your social working skills. Relax. Relax.
Well, that's it for the day. The last two people didn't show up. You want to go over the group today or wait until after the audition tomorrow? I'm hungry. I haven't had anything to eat since breakfast. So I'm for waiting until tomorrow or discussing over dinner somewhere. What do you all think? Hey, what's going on here? Daniel?
Whoa, Tony, what are you calling me out like that for? I'm hungry too. Come on, Rachel, I got you covered.
I am hungry.
What about you, Paul? You hungry?
I could use a meal. If it comes with a stiff drink. But I don't want to talk shop. Let me see the other actors audition first before we talk about filling the roles.
Is that all we're gonna do? Wait.
And I'll sleep on what you and Daniel have had to say. Was that good enough?
It's a start.
For now.
Hello?
Hello. May I please speak to Claire?
This is Claire.
Hi, Claire. This is Frankie Townsend from Howard's Medical Center. I have been assigned to your case as your therapist.
Oh, I totally forgot about a phone meeting.
That's all right. Are you able to get started right now?
I think... Yes, I can.
Well, great. Okay. If you don't mind, put you on speakerphone. Great. So, can you give me a picture of what you've been dealing with and how long you've been dealing with these issues?
Well, it's a long story. It is somewhat difficult for me to talk about, but I'll give it a try. If my son hadn't insisted that therapy would help me cope with myself, I would not be doing this.
It is totally your decision, Claire. You are the one who has to feel that you want to get help, and that it is time for you to learn to empower yourself. It's your choice.
I know, but I'm not sure if therapy will really help. I have tried to work things out myself.
I understand, Claire, but sometimes talking to someone who is not familiar with you can give you more feedback in a positive way.
Yes, I understand. There's been so many things that have been happening, I don't know how to start.
Well, why don't we start with right now? What are you thinking about and what is troubling you at this moment?
If I start with what am I doing right now, I might start screaming.
Well, this may be a good place to start. And if you feel like screaming, go right ahead.
I hate my life. I hate these people who are in my life. I don't want to go on any longer. The only one who cares isn't here.
Okay, Claire. I understand. Can you tell me why?
Because I'm dumb and stupid. Everyone thinks I'm unintelligent. They don't want to be around me, and they humiliate me all the time. I am so tired of trying to prove myself to them.
Who are they?
They are my ex, Charles, my daughter, Jeanette, and there's her fancy man husband who thinks he is too good to be near me. He has Jeanette believing that my dyslexia is contagious, so I don't see much of my grandson. I know he wouldn't have married Jeanette if he had known I was dyslexic. Now here I am, hauling and cleaning up junk that they were too lazy to take with them.
What junk?
Boxes of stuff they no longer want. I have my own stuff I'm trying to sort through. For all these years, I've had to wipe their butts, cook their food, and clean up behind them. I'm tired. My apartment is too small. I feel like I'm suffocating. The only one who cleared out his stuff is my son.
Did you tell them how you felt about having the things left behind for you to manage?
Yes, I did, but they told me they didn't have time. So today I'm going to throw all this crap out onto the curb.
Good for you. I think that's a good step in the right direction. I can understand your frustration. I read in your file that you've been divorced for some years now.
Yes. He left me because I wasn't intelligent enough to be a suitable wife and mother. So he left me for someone who could stimulate his mind.
No, I see. Would you be willing to share what your marriage was like? But only if you're willing and feel comfortable talking with me about it.
It will make me feel uncomfortable, but I need to get this out once and for all. Happiness. True happiness. I mean, it's so damn elusive. I was at the point of my happiness when my family was vacationing at the Grand Canyon. Up to this point, I felt like I was the most intelligent wife and mother on earth. Charles and the children weren't ashamed of me, despite the fact that I had trouble reading, writing, and I couldn't spell worth a damn. He knew from the beginning I was dyslexic, but he said he loved me anyway. Charles continued to feel this way, even when his family tried to destroy our marriage. They felt I wasn't smart enough for their family.
What happened when you were around his family?
Whenever Charles and I, along with the children, would visit for the holidays, his mother, Helen, would use very sophisticated words, knowing that I didn't understand half of what she was saying. She would, every now and then, glance at me from the corner of her eye to see if I was sinking in my chair. And I was. I could feel the other family members chuckling inside as they glanced in my direction.
How did you feel, Claire?
I felt like I was their comic relief for the day. I felt like a big, dumb, stupid ass.
Yeah, I'm so sorry to hear that. You didn't deserve that.
I began to believe like I was an embarrassment to Charles and the children. So I asked Charles if we could not attend any more family gatherings. He said I was being ridiculous. So he started to go without me and he took the children with him. I spent the holidays alone. Charles even became so ashamed of me, he started going without me to social events with his friends. I wanted to die right then and there. I saw no value in living any longer.
Years of that kind of abuse, Claire, can destroy one's self-esteem. Your feelings are very much justified. You are a strong woman to have made it this far without having a total breakdown.
I first lost my self-esteem when I was very young. My mother never had faith in me becoming anything better than a factory worker. I always wanted to become a writer and actor, but she told me I was too dumb to become either. I had to be able to read, and that was one thing I could not do. I did try to write small stories, but my mother would find them and would make fun of what I wrote, so I would hide them from her. I always had this hopelessness festering in my soul.
How did you cope with the fact that you had no support from your mother?
You know what I did? I had a bag of toy horses. This was my family, and I was one of those horses. I had a mother and a father, and I had brothers and sisters. I was the smartest of them all. I helped them with their problems, wiped away their tears. I could do anything. Unlike my real family, they solved their differences and lived happily ever after.
What happened to your horses and your writings?
I don't really know. It was like 1 minute they were there and then they were gone.
Did you try your hand at writing again?
Yes. Yes, I did. Charles, can you read my play and give me your honest opinion? Charles, why are you snickering? It is not supposed to be funny.
This is horrible. I can't read any more of this. How can you write with all your grammatical errors, improper tense? You can't even form a proper sentence. Your mind's all over the place that doesn't make sense. You want to make it on Broadway with this shit? Our 6-year-old grandkid can write better than this.
You ass! How can you say that? I studied every day online to understand the craft of writing. For one thing, it isn't supposed to be funny.
Well, it's funny to me.
You ass! For years you have been putting me down. There was a time when you encouraged me to improve myself.
That was then, this is now. You haven't improved much. Claire, I've been going over several issues about us, and we haven't been a family for a long time now. And
What do you mean, we're not a family? We have a home, we have children, and a grandchild.
hold on. Our marriage hasn't been a marriage for a long time. Maybe we should stop pretending and move on.
Yeah, it stopped some time ago when you began to feel ashamed of me when we were around your family and friends. Oh, that little dumb wife who can't speak intelligently enough to carry a decent conversation. You tried your damnedest to keep the children away from me as much as possible.
Yes! I tried to keep them away from you so they wouldn't pick up your ways. They needed a mother who was intelligent so they can function in this world and able to survive. And yes, I kept them away, you away from my family and friends because they saw through your pretense. You dress yourself up all nice and pretending to be something that you're not. You know what my friend Bob said the other day? He said, gee, Charles, your wife's pretty, but she's not very smart, is she? Do you know how that made me feel? It made me feel like I picked up a gold digger and married her. Yes, you, Claire. That's what my family and friends say about you. You're a gold digger because you can't make it in this world. In other words, you're pretty, but you're dumb.
How dare you say that to me? You couldn't stand up for me and tell them the truth? You knew for years that I've always wanted to work. I'm good at sewing. I could have made quilts and sold them for a good price. But you, yes, you told me that it would take time away from the children. I did my best to look decent because I wanted to make you feel proud of me when we were around those people. As far as the children, I gave them the best of everything. I made sure they were on top of their lessons. I encouraged them to strive for the best so they could achieve their goals in life. I didn't want them to be like me. And they're not. They're smart, intelligent adults.
No, Claire. You were never good to my children. I was embarrassed by them because of the issues they were having because of you. Jeanette, she was embarrassed by you. It affected her mentally. She asked me to have a sleepover at my mom's house so she couldn't show her friends how unintelligent her mother was. And as far as Declan goes, he was a sheepless child. He's probably ashamed of you too.
Why are you doing this to me, Charles?
Claire, I'm not doing anything to you. You're doing this to yourself. No wonder why Declan, when he finished college, he didn't come home and went straight to the military. He realized you handicapped him as a child. So what did he do? He went to the military and became a man. I should have listened to my parents and married someone else. You weren't good enough to be my wife or the mother of my children.
I can't believe.
Why can't you? It's true.
I can believe what you said about Jeanette, but not Declan. I don't believe you would say I kept him from being a man.
Well, believe what you want. Here, you better get a lawyer to understand what that means.
What's this?
My God, Claire, that's unforgivable.
You don't have to say anything, Frankie. That's the story of my married life. Yep. I stood there like a fool, holding our divorce papers as he walked out of my life.
Clearly, he left you with enough to get yourself settled.
No. He blew through his money so he wouldn't have to pay alimony. A year before he left, he took out a second mortgage. He took the money and bought himself another house. He never repaid the mortgage, so The bank took the house that I was living in.
How in the world did you make it up to this point?
Well, I had to get assistance. The supplementary Social Security benefit was so inadequate, I had to get some kind of a job. I did manage to get a job as a school crossing guard, but it didn't last long because I made friends with some of the children.
How would making friends with the children cause you to lose your job?
Well, I found out that they love to tell stories about knights, kings, and queens. So I formed a little club where they would write their stories and give them to me to read. Believe it or not, I was able to read them without much trouble. They were third graders, so it wasn't too difficult for me. At night, I would read them, and when I was finished, I would place them in a binder. This was the first time I felt truly happy. I didn't have to worry about spelling or being grammatically correct. But when the children's parents found out and saw my poor writing skills, I was asked never to read or write any more stories for them. The principal said I wasn't a teacher, and it wasn't my place to act like one. When the year was over, I wasn't asked to renew my contract.
The good thing about that experience was that you were able to find your love for telling stories with the children, even if it was only for a short time. So I take it you're not working now?
No, but I'm getting by.
Claire, did you finish high school?
Yes.
Have you ever thought about going back to school, like a junior college? You could start with some basic courses. They could teach you the basics of grammar, spelling, and so on.
I did that several years ago, but lost my confidence. I did start with the basic courses. Then I took a fiction writing course, which led me to take a few theater classes. I really loved writing stage plays. I even did a little acting. I was the old lady in the class.
That's really great. I mean, you're not the old lady part, you're not that old. So, where would you like to go from here?
Well, I had an instructor who really loved my work. He wanted to help me pursue my career in writing stage plays, but he died before I could complete my portfolio. It was so sad. He was loved by his students. He was a great person. As time went on, I did graduate and receive my associate's degree, which took me longer than expected, but I graduated. I wanted to attend a university so I could get my BA in theater, but I was afraid. Oh, someone is at my door. I better see who it may be. It's been nice talking to you. I'll call you maybe sometime in the future. Well, nice to see you too. What brings you here? I thought I would see you next week.
Yeah, I wanted to talk to you about that. I really didn't want to have to come here, but I had to tell you this face to face. What are you doing with my things?
I have decided it is time to clear out some of this old junk. I really don't have room for it.
What? This box is mine. I want what's in it. If I wanted to get rid of it, I would have done it a long time ago. Can't you see it has my name on it? Oh, I forgot. You can't read. Here, let me spell it out for you. Jeannette. Jeez, Mom.
Jeanette, if you wanted this stuff, you should have taken it with you when you moved out.
I had the box in a storage attic, Mother.
Does this 2-room apartment look like it has an attic?
I'm not the stupid one. I'm talking about our old house, the one you lost because you were too lazy to get a job.
Whatever, Jeanette. Why did you come here? So you can humiliate me for the 100th time?
Mother, stop playing the victim. You always make everything about you. What about me? I'm the one who had to pretend I didn't have a mother. The kids at school would whisper behind my back talking about my stupid mother who couldn't read. I suffered for years because of you. Just because you got some cheap degree from a junior college doesn't make you smart. And you probably paid some needy guy to write your term papers for you. And whoever he was, I'm sure he wouldn't sleep with your old butt.
Jeanette, that's enough. Just say what you have to say and leave.
I'm here because Kevin and I have decided to spend the 4th of July together with little Charles. You know, he usually spends the holiday with Kevin's family. We decided it would be too confusing for little Charles to see you when Dad and his... I know Declan asked you to come,
Go
but...
on, Jeanette. Dad and his what? Why would you tell a lie? All you had to do was tell me the truth. All of you want me to stay away from my grandson. I don't understand you people.
Well, if you want to know everything, Kevin thinks it would be best if you aren't around little Charles anymore, even if Declan insists that you come every 4th of July.
What? Why not? I'm his grandmother.
That is a biological fact, but you may impede his learning skills. This is his 2nd year in school, and we don't want him to have any setbacks. When you read to him, you use the wrong words, and he can tell when you make up parts of a story where you can't pronounce the words correctly. You make up these little, stupid voices, and you act out what you're reading to him, and it just looks and sounds very stupid. And when we have guests over, it's embarrassing.
Jeanette, just because I'm not as sophisticated as the rest of you doesn't mean I can't see little Charles. I don't have a communicable disease. It's just that part of my brain is wired differently. That's all. And as far as Charles and his new wife, they can kiss my ass! And so can you and that piece of shit, Kevin!
Not only are you dumb, you also have a foul mouth. I'm glad I got away from you when I did. By the way, Declan didn't tell you he's in town, did he? He's staying with Kevin and me until he can find a place to live. You see, even your precious son wants nothing to do with you.
Get out!
Gladly, Mother. Oh.
What more can I do? I have tried everything I could to prove to myself and to my family that I'm not dumb. I want to be able to show that I am smart. I want them to love me for who I am, nothing more. I am Claire Grant, dyslexic woman who wants to be a playwright and an actor. I want to... Oh, I can't even do this right without being interrupted. Okay, one moment, please.
Mama!
Declan, what are you doing here? I thought you were... What are you doing here? Jeanette said you were staying at her house and...
Hi, Mom. That's my favorite girl. You look like something is wrong. Aren't you glad to see me?
No, yes, but...
Yes, but what? You don't want me here? You have a man hidden within these walls?
No, Jeanette said...
Jeanette said what? Did she come up with some lie about me not wanting to see you?
You're not staying with her? I thought you were, and she said...
No. I'm not staying with her. I'd rather live in the barn before I live with those stuck-up assholes.
She said you didn't want to see me.
Now, why wouldn't I want to see you? In fact, you're the first one I've seen. I literally just got off the plane and came straight here. I wanted to see you, Mom. Okay. To my family. For those who may care and for those who don't, I'm writing this to tell you all how I feel. For years, I have been everyone's doormat. I wanted to be somebody to prove myself to you all that I'm not stupid. I'm a person with feelings. I wanted to be a writer and an actor, and I wanted to be loved. How could I be these things when I can't read or spell? How can I be loved when the extent of love given to me rests on the level of my perceived intelligence and sophistication? For those who care, I hope you will understand what I have done. My life has been full of pain, and I have reached a point where I can't take it any longer. No one seems to care or understand. So I just want to say I loved you all with all my heart. Goodbye. But why, Mom? I mean, you have everything to live for. You're a beautiful, wonderful woman. Your life is yours to do with whatever you want, despite what those asses think about you. You deserve so much more from life and not this mental abuse that you have been living with. You should be happy, Mom. I mean, you dedicated your whole life to Jeanette and me. Not to mention how you put up with Dad and his family. I saw how they snubbed you and made fun of you behind your back. I mean, I did what Dad told me to do because, you know, he was Dad and I didn't want to disrespect him. But I'm a grown man now, and I don't owe them nothing.
You knew about their behavior as a child? How could you remember? You were too young.
I remember enough to know how they abused you.
You know, Declan, there's so much I want to say, but I don't want to destroy the ideological image you have of me. But it started when I was in school. I wanted to be smart like the other kids. I would sit in class and daydream because I couldn't understand what the teachers were talking about. Their words became all jumbled up in my head. I wanted to read so badly. There were times when I went to the library. I walked around the books and touched them by running my fingers through the titles. You know, I just wanted to be able to read, hoping that the words would magically be transported into my brain so I could read them. You know, in a way it was like reading Braille. Sometimes the librarian would look at me and ask me if I needed help. A surge of embarrassment would spread through me. So I would say, no, thank you. I didn't want anyone to read that I didn't want anyone to see that I could not read. I left the library feeling lost and angry. I went home with tears streaming from my eyes. When I was in my 20s, I was determined to read a book. So I chose The Exorcist to read. I used a dictionary so I could look up words I didn't understand.
Geez, Mom. Wow. Now that book was a doozy. I had a hard time reading that one myself. It scared the crap out of me. And I refused to go see the movie when it was re-released.
Yeah, me too. I did see the movie, which is why I wanted to read the book, to compare the two, to see what was left in and what was taken out of the story. Well, anyway, I went through life not wanting to tell people I was dyslexic. Sometimes people will think less of you if they know you are different from them. They will start to treat you like you have a disease. I went through life and I had to fake situations so people didn't know I was struggling with reading and writing. You know, I wish brain transplants were possible because then I would have one. That's how desperate I am to feel whole.
You won't need these anymore? Hold your head up, Mom. You have nothing to be ashamed of. I only saw a small part of what you had gone through, but I always believed you were strong and a fighter. And you know what? You are. I love you for who you are. I mean, you have the ability to do whatever you set out to do. You have a gift. You know, the positive thing about having dyslexia is that it gives you the strong ability to create and problem solve. You have that creativity in your heart and soul. Just think back on all the stories you told Jeanette and me. I love each and every one of them because of their uniqueness. And I think one of Dad's issues with you is he wanted to be able to write like you. He was jealous of you.
Of me? I can't believe it.
You heard me. Yes, jealous. And the same goes for Jeanette and Kevin, who lack any kind of creative skills. They just bullshit their way through life and no less than you. But Mom, you got it. You know, we are all lacking in some area or another, but the best way to handle it is to own it. I sneaked into his office one day when I was 8 years old. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, but I was drawn to the trash can. So, he had a lot of balled up pieces of paper. I took them, unfolded them, and saw that it was stories that he was attempting to write. It was some of the worst junk I have ever read. It's okay to laugh, Mom. You deserve to laugh. It's funny. One day after that, I overheard him on the phone talking about his writing, and he couldn't form the basic structure for his stories, and he didn't know how you did it.
It's not that hard for me.
That's what I'm trying to tell you. Not everyone can do what you do. Mom, I'm here. I can help you with whatever you need. I ran into some of my old Army buddies several months ago, and one of them runs a theater company. I could run your work by him and see what happens. I'm sure he can maybe, just maybe, pull some strings for you. His father is a big shot in the theater world, so cross your fingers and have hope.
Thank you, Declan. I really do want your help, but I want to accomplish it all by myself. If someone accepts my work just because...
Don't worry, it is. It will be your own accomplishment. It's just a way to get your foot in the door.
I can't believe you are willing to help me. No one has ever wanted to help me besides my instructor in college. No one else cared. I just want to prove myself.
You don't have to prove anything to anyone. You just have to prove it to yourself. That's all. I'm going to give you an exercise to do each day, okay? Come on, stand up. Come on, Mama, what you doing? Stand up, come on. All right, first lesson. Whenever you feel like you have something to prove, just take in a deep breath. Come on, do it with me. Now let it out. Good. First step done. Now say, screw 'em!
What? Declan, I'm your mother. I have to set an example.
No, you don't. Right now, I'm your teacher. Okay? Ready? 1, 2, 3. Screw 'em! Come on, Mom. I can barely hear you. All right, again. Screw 'em! There we go. Good. And now again and again until you feel it and mean it.
Screw 'em! Screw 'em! Screw 'em! Oh my, that felt good.
See, it feels good when you let go and not care what anybody thinks about you. All right, now, lesson 2, motivation. Do you remember those bedtime stories you told Jeanette and me and how you would perform them in front of us as if they were stage plays?
Yes, I do remember them, of course, but I didn't think you would remember them.
Well, I did. I broke each one of them down when I had downtime serving overseas. I submitted them to a publisher who was looking for unique stage plays for kids. Now check this out. I put a book together of those stories, and here is a check of the royalties from the books that were sold.
But, Declan, you wrote this.
No, Mom. You told them to us so many times that I just took your words and wrote them on paper verbatim. That's all.
I don't know what to say.
You don't have to say anything. Just get to work on that laptop and start cranking out some plays. Oh, and one more thing. Lesson 3. Have faith and believe. Stay right here. it's okay that I book in with you? Or do you have a man sharing your abode with you?
No, of course you can bunk here with me. This place is so small.
Yeah, it is small, but we can manage. We will only be here for a few weeks.
You're leaving so soon?
Yep, we will be leaving soon. I found a place in New York City. It's a fairly good-sized apartment, so we won't be invading each other's privacy. You have your own bedroom, bathroom, and sitting room. How does that sound to you?
We? Oh, Declan, that sounds wonderful. Thank you, Declan, for caring about this once broken woman. You are my rock, Declan. I love you.
I love you too, Mom.
Hello?
Hi, is this Frankie?
Yes, this.
Hi, Frankie. Do you remember me? We spoke once a year ago.
Oh. Hello, Claire. Yes, I remember. How are you? I was so worried the last time we talked. How are you getting along?
I hope you have time.
I have plenty of time for you, Claire.
So much has happened. I don't know where to start.
Well, remember, you can start with right where you are.
Okay, so now I am living in New York City with my son Declan. We have a beautiful apartment. He has a job for this big tech company where he is senior executive. I am so proud of him. Declan, well anyway, I am doing fine. I'm doing well. Declan has encouraged me to push forward with my writing. He introduced me to a publisher. I have written several stage plays and children's books. I have submitted my plays into every festival I could. Some were accepted and some weren't, but that's just the way it goes. I wrote a monologue for a festival here about a woman struggling with her dyslexia, which I performed on stage. I won first place in Best Monologue of the Year.
Well, that's wonderful. And did you base it on your own experience living with dyslexia?
Yes. I had to get my message out there. It was my goal to convey to the world how difficult it is for people with learning challenges. It affects every aspect of one's life, physically and mentally. We need to understand that we are not all alike. Each of us carries some sort of disability, but it is up to us to own it and move on. That's what my son taught me, and I own it every day. But there are times when that old self creeps up on me. I start to feel like I'm not good enough and worry how people will perceive me. Then I get over it. That's their problem if they don't see me as a person. And you know what? I take in a deep breath, hold my head up high, and say, screw 'em.
Good for you. And you have taken control of your life and moved on. Good for you.
When I was a child, my mother told me to love you. She told me to treasure you and to appreciate you. As she would braid my hair, she would tell me how special and important you are, and to always remember me. I would look at myself in the mirror, studying you, analyzing you, trying to see what she saw, what she knew. I liked your hair. I liked your smoothness. I liked how you would get darker once you were kissed by the sunlight in the summer, and was almost sad when you lightened up in the winter. Though I did not fully understand the words, I loved you. I treasured you. You were mine. But still, my mother would say the same words. To love you, to cherish you, and I would do just that. I made sure to clean you and to lather you with lotion. I would smile at myself every time I looked in the mirror. I would walk around with pride when you were something gifted to me or me alone. I was young, and I guess one could say in love, though that could sound a bit conceited to some. But is it so wrong to love yourself? To be in love with yourself? To be in love with you? Is it wrong to love you? The world is truly so simple as a kid, living in an ignorance that you didn't even realize existed, living in a world with hope and endless possibilities. I was young. I hadn't gone past the PBS shows where they were teaching the letter S for special, to the news, where they were teaching the letter R for race, D for disenfranchised, C for class, or N for fill in the blank. Because it wasn't PC for the white faces on the screen to say it, so they simply replaced it with words like urban and intercity. The word was gone, but the meaning was still there. I had yet scoured the channels on TV to find show after show with others who did not look like you, as if you did not exist. And the few shows that did feature you, when it simply showed you as a joke, a stereotype, an exotic being. And the shows with us in the spotlight stood in places called things like BET. We were separated. We were not the same as the others, so we had to make a space for ourselves because I was wrong. They were not the others. We were. You and me. We were the ideas. And I did not fully understand this, for my mother had not set me down to explain to me the long history that you had, the bondage that tied you down, the whips that hit you, the ropes that hung you, the fires that burned you, the names that ostracized you, the laws that attacked you, the men and women in white coats that haunted you, the jails that held you, and the guns that shot you to this day. I had not yet gone to my elementary school history class, where I would learn of the hundreds of years of suffering you endured, condensed to a single chapter within a thick tomb celebrating a free America. It was also then that I learned the definitions of sarcasm and irony. And I would turn on the news again, seeing you jailed for crime after crime that the others would not be jailed for. seeing you being attacked, seeing you being hurt. And it was then I felt a hot shame wash over my body. And then anger. But why was it that you were the victim in this world? Why was it that you were seen as a monster? Why were we the others? But still, I will remember my mother's words and the resilience that you had that stood the test of time. Yet, the words seem faded sometimes. Not as strong, a bit more confused, a bit more empty. I remember when I was with you one day and I saw a boy who caught my attention. I smiled. He smiled back. I turned to my friend, told him about this boy, asked him for a bit of confidence, a little advice. Wanted to go over and speak to him. My friend smiled awkwardly at me and told me not to. I asked, why? And with the same awkward smile, they said, because he just wouldn't be interested in your, and they pointed at you, and you became hot with those words. It's not a bad thing. You're just not his type. He wouldn't be interested. The tone in her voice was sad, almost pitying. I looked at you, bewildered and confused. Or, weren't you supposed to be beautiful? Weren't you supposed to be my treasure? My mother's words began to fade just a bit more because I wasn't seeing you from her eyes or even my own. I was still barely anything more than a child. I write to you as what I consider a young woman with the knowledge to say I am not a kid anymore, but also some wisdom to know that I am not yet an adult. Over the years, I have gained many experiences from having you with me. I often find myself in places where there are not many others like you, and sometimes I feel a loneliness from this. I feel a sense of that other. I sense the awkwardness of, as people whisper your existence or the silence when I mention our friendship. Sometimes I cry because I am scared. I am scared that many people don't recognize your mistreatment as a problem and that people don't see you for your true self. And admittedly, there were times that I would once again not look at you with my own eyes, which is why I had decided to correct that. Others who read this or hear this may not understand what the purpose of this letter is. They may see this as me blaming you or consoling you or empowering you. But you and I know this is not true, or you never were at fault. You are too proud to be consoled and too strong to be empowered. You have survived for so many years, no matter the odds, for me to need to do those things. You have faced too many trials, jumped too many hurdles, and endured far too much. And I know that you know that you are strong, powerful, and amazing, to the point that almost unnecessary for me to mention. And when you do need strength, you have me, and I have you to lean on. And that even if others do not see you for what you are,
No, this letter is not any of those things because it is a personal message from me to you, and I have remembered my mother's words. I have remembered them, and they are strong and clear in my mind, and I feel a true shame for ever letting them lose their strength. So, I am writing to you as I look in the mirror. I am writing to you as I clean and lather you with lotion. I am writing as you grow stronger with the sun's kiss. I am writing to you as I see you on the news. I am writing to you as I read about you in my history books. And I am writing to you every chance I get, for this is a love letter. This is a letter stating my love for you, my undying passion for your existence, and the beauty that I see in my own eyes. And in love with you. And it is my only hope that you love me back. You are my pride. You are my treasure. You are my strength. You are mine. And you are me. You are my beautiful, cherished, wonderful, amazing, special, strong, powerful, brown skin. With love, you are mine, your friend, and yourself.
Thank you.